Hello everyone, this is Beers SC. I'm going to try a Zendikar World Wake Draft. I remember hating this set back when it first came out. Pretty much up until I forget what was the next one after it. Uh, oh yeah, Rise of Eldrazi, which was brutally bad. So after some time, uh, I figured I'd give it another shot. Right now, the card's worth considering. Merfolk Sea Stalkers, which is actually a pretty good card. I like that one. Blue's an alright color to be in. Goblin Guide. It's really not very good in limited. I suppose if you can drop it turn one, it's not too bad, but it's not really a card I'm looking for. Pitfall Trap's not a bad one, but it's pretty easy for opponents to play around. The pretty clear pick is Hideous End. Black's obviously the best color for anyone that's played this before, and it's usually quite overdrafted, so it's not always my favorite color to be in, just because you assume you'll probably get cut off either way, either side. Okay, in this pack we have, not a whole lot. Geyser Glider, which is not a bad card. It almost is a 4/4 flyer, but I mean, obviously attacking it's 4/4 flyer. On defense, not as much. Step Links, it's all right. Really, that's about it. I guess we could stick with black and take the ally, but 5 mana for an ability that really isn't that significant. I guess I'll just go ahead and take the glider. Looks like red black. If that's what we stick in. Red's also another color. It's pretty overdrafted, I think. So we may not be getting a whole lot from our neighbors. Okay, here we've got a few different options. We can take the River Boa, which is a pretty good card. 2/1 with Regenerate is often pretty decent. Or we can stick in our colors and take either the Gruul Draws Vampire, the Heartstabber Mosquito, or the Bloodseeker obviously is weaker than the other two. Or we could take a Goblin Bushwhacker, which I actually like this card quite a bit. Most of the decks tend to be pretty aggressive, and if you're in a pretty good race, sometimes you can drop it and get through 3 or 4 extra points of damage that you need. But I tend to like this Heartstabber Mosquito the best. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. One pick we missed, I took a Crypt Ripper. It was not a whole lot in the pack, and it helps. Looks like black is flowing pretty well. I love having Mind Sludge. If I can be mono black or close to mono black, I mean, casting this on turn 5 and making them basically discard their hand is quite backbreaking. There's also Into Royal. I like Into Royal if I'm in blue, but no sense to move into blue now. And the 2 red cards just aren't as good as I don't believe as Mind Sludge. Alright, here we have a Scrabbler, which basically is filler. It's not a card that I'm looking to play unless there's nothing else in the pack, or I'm short a playable or 2. We have the Shrine. Again, not a card I'm overly excited to play. It's really bad to draw late in the game. If you can get a couple down early, it's obviously good. Slaughter Cry, another good, it's a good combat trick, but I think the pick is just take another Mosquito, stick with black. Black doesn't seem, we're not getting any of the great black cards, so it's tough to say whether or not black is open, or we're just kind of getting the the fringe of the good playable black. But most of these cards I don't mind playing. Our cost is going to be a little bit high right now. Okay, here we have Cliff Threader, which I like quite a bit, and because in this set 2-drops are so key. So even a 2/1 Mountain Walk, sometimes that's a relevant ability, but most of the time it's just it's a 2/1. But you need, even if you're a slow deck like mine's shaping up to be, you need creatures like this to block their early threats. There's also a Skyruin Drake, which I'm going to go ahead and take. I don't know if blue is open or not. We've seen a few good blue cards, and I don't mind playing one of these. It's a pretty good blocker. Can push through some damage late in the game. All right. Well, here we've got the Short Cutter or the Torch Slinger. Short cutter is obviously best when you have a nice aggro deck, which doesn't seem to be the way we're shaping up. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Torch Slinger. We've got quite a few cards now that, let's see, the two Mosquitoes, the Torch Slinger, that can be dropped early if needed, or played late as removal if we can afford to wait. Okay, here there's really nothing for our deck. I've never been a big fan of Goblin Warpaint. I just don't like equipments, auras in general, because unless they're real powerful, because they often open you up to 2-for-1s. Might as well ship the 5/6 worm, because maybe somebody will move into green. I'll go ahead and take the Warpaint. I'm not going to be playing the Teetering Peak. I don't need a comes into play tapped land right now. And that +2/+0 is not going to help our deck. And there's nothing worse than needing your 7th land to hit a Mosquito, thinking you basically either draw a live card or a land, and then drawing a comes into tapped land. Slaughter Cry, again, like I said, is a pretty good combat trick. I'll go ahead and take it. Could go into Expedition Map. I don't know. There's no land that we need right now, and we don't need the splashing. I probably won't be playing this Drake. Well, the Bushwhacker came back. So, but if we take it, we're starting to look a little bit more aggro. Or we could take the Land Fixer. I still don't think this deck's going to be super aggro, although this is obviously worse with your Mind Sludge. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bushwhacker. Okay, nothing for us. All of a sudden, maybe this Mind Sludge also looks a lot worse because I'm a little bit more red. And I guess depending on what we get in pack 2, that might help out what direction our Drax is going to go. Come on. Okay, I'll go ahead and hide. Well, I'll leave that up for now. Okay. In this pack, we have a Mosquito we could take. Hookmaster. I love Hookmaster and Core Skyfisher, 2 great cards, but I don't know if we're going to move into any reason to move into white. Really, this pick would come down to me, with the colors we're in, to either the Boar or the Mosquito. We already have 2 Mosquitoes. I don't think running 3 is going to be all that exciting. This is a pretty efficient tacker. There aren't that many artifacts in decks, so they basically have to be playing red or it's unblockable. And of course we have the Tuk-Tuk, but without any allies, there's really no reason to pick that one up. So we'll go ahead and take this Boar. I'd really would love to have a Skyfisher goes great with Bushwhacker. To red-white aggro deck. In fact, both of these go real well in that type of deck. But at this point, I'd like to at least play the Hideous End, maybe a Heartstabber or 2. So I don't really want to move out of into another color yet. Okay. Well, we got Gatekeeper. The question is whether or not we're going to be able to get to 3 black mana. We're starting to lean a little bit heavier into red. Although I suppose it's Warpaint. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hide this Sky Ruin Drake. We're not going to go into blue. I doubt we'll be, well, I'm not going to hide that yet, but I doubt we'll be playing Mind Sludge. So the 2 options really have are the Bushwhacker or the Gatekeeper. And I think Gatekeeper's the pick. Again, it's not the best removal. I mean, they get to sacrifice whatever they want, so obviously it's better coming down early, so they don't really have a choice. But if we take the Bushwhacker, that's the second one. Our deck, again, still isn't shaping up to be super aggro, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Gatekeeper. Maybe. All right. Oh. Here's a great, one of the best black commons in the set, non-removal anyway. Get this down on turn 2, you can usually count on getting through 6 or 8 damage at the minimum. And even when it stops being an efficient tacker, it will usually trade. Of note, there's another Hookmaster. There's a Recluse, which I actually like this card quite a bit if I'm playing green. It just being able to block, you know, obviously can block this both Heartstubber mosquitoes if needed, and if you can wait till turn 6, you can killing a flyer, 2-for-1ing with a green doesn't have a lot of opportunity to 2-for-1s, and this is one way to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Marauder here. Okay, whoa. Here's a late Hideous End. Okay, well, I guess there was a pretty good job of cutting off black. I'm surprised. 4th pick, you don't usually see a black common like Hideous End in the pack, but there's really nothing else in the pack either. I really don't like the Ruinous Minotaur. I've seen it playing a lot, but oftentimes I'll drop it on turn 3, and I just don't want to attack because if I hit, I don't want to sacrifice my land. I'm looking to get to a 4, 5, 6 drop, and it just sets you back too far. It's a decent blocker, but most of the time, if a red is playing a 5/2 attacker or 5/2 creature, it wants to be attacking with it. So Explorer's Scope's another good filler card. It doesn't do a whole lot on its own. You need a lot of landfall triggers, which we don't have right now, and before it's real good. Okay, we have Removal and Blazing Torch. There's a Crypt Ripper, or an Explorer's Scope. Again, we don't have any landfall effects. I don't see any reason to take this one at the moment. We already have one Crypt Ripper. We don't want to have... The last thing you want is to have too many things on the board that are mana sinks, because it's kind of wasted resources. So I'm going to go ahead and take the removal, Blazing Torch. It's not the best removal, but it's good at what it does, the shock effect. Okay. Now here the question is whether or not to take the Shatterskull Giant or the Ally. Obviously this one has one more power, but it also costs 2 red mana, which we're starting to lean back heavier into black. So getting to 2 red mana, and I still want to play this Mind Sludge if I can. So I probably am looking at playing something like 11-6 or 11-7 as a split, maybe even 12-6. And so for that reason, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Ally. And if I can pick up a couple allies, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a common ally in pack 3 that it's a 2/2 that can't block for 2 mana. And pick up a couple of those. This obviously can become bigger. Once it gets to 4/4, 5/5, it's a much better creature. Okay, here, wow, this is a pretty late Druid. This is a really good card for green. You can get this down to turn 3 and have it stick. You can get some pretty absurd draws. We'll go ahead and take the Magma Rift. It's removal. I don't like sacrificing lands, as I said earlier, but with this, this is a little different than the Minotaur, because you can actually, you don't have to play it early for it to be effective. You can wait till you get up to 7 or 8 lands before removing one of the creatures. Okay. To take the Giant or the Soul Stare Expedition. This card, let's see, we don't really have any creatures that are, you know, if we had something like the Nighthawk, then obviously we'd consider the Expedition a little bit more. But right now there's no creature that we really are going to be dying to get back. Most of them do their damage just coming onto the board. And that Expedition, if you drop it late, oh, wow, the Core Skyfisher came back. That's crazy. I mean, there's no way we can take it, but I guess just take the Mosquito again. Summoner's Bane is not a bad card. A lot of people, I mean, this format's so quick that you don't really want to be leaving open 4 mana. It's pretty obvious when somebody leaves up 4 mana what their blue at that, what their intention is. But we'll go ahead and take another Mosquito.